Okay.
Hello, Mr. Mead's class. This is Mr. Mead with Mr. Phelps, and we are also being joined by Wesley, and we're going to talk today about the book called Hootie and Happy Cat, which you are the author of.
Yes,
So,
I
so
am.
I've got a couple of
Thanks.
questions, and I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit. Wesley and I have been reading the book. We're on chapter 3 right now, and if you're not familiar with it, the kids, I don't think that too many of the kids in our class have read this yet. There are two characters. And so Hootie is the dog, and who's Happy Cat? What kind of animal is he?
A cat.
He's a cat. Okay. There's Happy Cat and Hootie, and the problem of the story is that there is a missing calf, and
And they think it wandered in Secret 40, which is like the spooky woods.
spooky woods. Does the story take place in McBain?
Yeah, so it's kind of a mix of my home area, right behind the house, behind the farmhouse. We have a wooded lot back there. So a lot of the story does come just from my backyard. And it's kind of fun that's what you always hear, when someone says if you're going to write something, write what you know about. So I was like, yeah, I'm very familiar with my backyard and the woods behind it. So
Good. Now, were these actual pets that you owned or do own?
yeah. So Hootie was our yellow lab.
I had a yellow lab when I was a kid. He was the best dog. His name was Chase. I love yellow labs.
Yeah, but our yellow lab's name was Jinja, and it didn't really flow, so I changed his name.
Okay. He's got a different.
And then we actually had a cat named Happy Cat. Happy Cat was just a stray that showed up in our barn and started eating mice and doing good cat work, so we kept her. Yeah.
Good. And so you were inspired to write the story by just the pets that you had and the kind of adventures that they might be having. I love how the animals can talk in the story and they can understand each other. So cats and dogs can understand each other, and the cows and the dog can understand each other. And I'm sure that there are more characters that we haven't met yet because we're only on chapter 3 so far.
Oh yeah.
But do you imagine, or do your kids imagine, the dogs and animals being able to communicate with each other like this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This story came about from just bedtime stories. So every night when I would put my oldest daughter to sleep, I would make up some quick tale about our animals, trying to usually involve saving some other animal or helping out some other animal. And so they'd be like 5-10 minutes, really short. And then one weekend we were out camping and stuck in a tent in a thunderstorm in the evening. So yeah. So there we are, and I was kind of like, okay, I got to come up with something to do. I'll tell one of my Hootie stories, but I'll make it really long. And so yeah, told this really long story, kind of the beginnings of this book actually. And what really prompted me to write it and put it down was the fact that for days after that camping trip, my oldest daughter kept just bringing it up. She's like, yeah, she goes, that was a really good story. I can't wait to hear what happens next. And so I got an idea and said, hey, why don't I put it down on paper, see how that goes.
We have similar stories in our family. The two characters the kids love best are Steve and Charlie. And Steve is a mole and Charlie is a hedgehog. And they live in the field behind our house. And a lot of their adventures, unfortunately, they don't involve helping other animals. They involve Steve and Charlie finding ways to get into things that they're not supposed to get into. Like the time, do you remember when they got into Dad's car?
Yeah, and then we went to China Fair, which is a restaurant in Traverse City.
Yeah, and Steve and Charlie ended up in the China Fair buffet. So we've got quite a bit of stories.
And then there's one where they got in the sailboat.
Oh, we got that one too. So
nice.
So is this your first book that you've written?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It was my first attempt. Yep.
And have you written any more? Are you planning on writing more?
So I keep this notebook on the table next to the bed, and I jot down little ideas here and there. I kind of have, I'd say, 2 different things that I'm working on, but it's just finding the time and making it to happen. Hootie and Happy Cat took me quite some time to write, because I'm actually, not a writer by trade or
Not full time.
education. Yeah, it was just something I thought I'd try and have some fun doing it. And so with the notebook, yeah, I just keep writing down ideas and adding a little bit here and there. And we'll see. I keep daydreaming. There's times when I really get kind of serious. It's like, okay, I'm going to write a sequel. I'm going to write the second book for Hootie and Happy Cat. And then things happen and I get busy doing something else.
Yeah. Now, is writing books something that you've always wanted to do? Did you know that you wanted, or that you would enjoy writing, or is this kind of a surprise?
It was a surprise. It was really what people thought of the book and the feedback that I got was amazing. Because like I said, this was just my first attempt just to try it, and I hadn't had much practice at writing books, and but I got great feedback. People really enjoyed it, and it was so much fun to do, and it was so much fun after, doing things like this, talking with you and then presenting with your students. And I did some book sales at like craft shows and things, and all the people that would come up and talk about writing and talk about the book. It was a lot of fun to connect with people who were interested in good stories and interested in writing.
Sure. And Wesley, what do you think of the book?
I really liked it. I just opened the book to a certain page and I started reading on chapter 6.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You're reading ahead.
No, I didn't. I saw this page that looked cool. It was where they were in the oak tree.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with Alba.
Yeah, we haven't met Alba yet.
Oh yeah,
So you're reading ahead. I don't know about this.
My girls.
I just opened up to a page.
My girls love that character. So
good. We'll be looking forward to meeting Alba.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any suggestions? We've got some kids, I know because I read all their papers and all their stories, who really, really enjoy writing.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's say, what kind of advice would you give to our third grade class if there are students who are really interested and really enjoy writing? What kinds of things should they be thinking about right now if they want to pursue a career writing books or stories?
So I had a friend who, wherever he went, he always had one of those small notebooks that you could fit in a pocket really easily. And he always had a pencil that was snapped in half. And, so it was a really, pencil. Yeah, like a small little golf pencil. And he just kept that with him all the time. And that's something that, like I mentioned before about having the book next to my bed, that's something that I kind of took to heart and say, okay, he always traveled with that, so that whenever he come across something that he thought maybe it was worthy of writing about, or just somebody else's little story they told, he would jot that stuff down. And that would be something that I would recommend. I mean, if you're really interested in writing, keep away with you, so that whenever the mood strikes you, or whenever you see something, you can write it down and come back to it later and change it, elaborate on it. It's just, I try to tell my girls that too, if you can have a way of recording those things or keeping those memories just by writing it down, that's a great idea.
Okay. Now, if our kids are inspired, I know that right now we're all locked in our houses with the coronavirus, but how can they get a copy? Do we have these in the McBain library when it opens up again, or can they buy a copy from your website? Or
yeah, the McBain library does have a copy.
Okay.
And actually right now I have them posted on Amazon also.
Oh, super. Okay. Well, I'll put a link when I finish off this video to the Amazon page where kids can order a copy. And Amazon is still, I know that they're very busy, mostly shipping toilet paper and things like that right now, but they are still they're still selling books.
Right.
And so if you're interested in getting a copy, I would both of us, Wesley and I, would recommend this book. It's a very good book so far. And if kids have questions, what I'll do is I'm going to post this to our Facebook page, and they can go ahead and respond to this video and ask you questions, and we'll try to get some answers if they've got specific questions about how to become an author, or how to write stories, or anything at all related to Hootie and to Happy Cat. So, Mr. Felsk, I can't thank you enough for joining us today. Any final words for our kids before we say goodbye?
No, I really had fun. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. And I would definitely love it if somebody reads the story and gives me feedback. I love to hear the stories or what you think of my story and your own stories. That's something that I've enjoyed as well. Is once you get the bug and read a book and you want to write your own story, man, I love to hear about those. So.
Good. All right. Well, thank you so much. And we will be talking to you soon.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So.